Samahanta Chakkavalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Muni Rajasa Sunantu Sagamokhadang Dhamma Sawana Kalo Ayang Badanda Dhamma Sawana Kalo Ayang Badanda Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, today I would like to share with you some verses from the two bhikkhuni, Arahant bhikkhuni. One is Chala bhikkhuni is Sariputta's sister. Sariputta's mother has, I think, maybe 3 daughters or 4 brothers, or 4 daughters and 3 brothers, 7 or 7 are Arahant. Okay. So one day, Chala bhikkhuni, in the morning, the bhikkhuni sat down at the foot of a tree after her arms round. For the days abiding means they sit meditating, because for Arahant they can enter into either Phala Samapatti or any Nirodha Samapatti, and to experience the peace of the mind, the evil one. When we talk about Mara, there are 4 types of Mara. Mara. One is Kilesa Mara. The second one is Khanda Mara. The third one is Machu Mala. Machu means death. Khanda means aggregate. And the last one means Devaputta Mara. Devaputta Mara. First, Kilesa Mara. So this Mara often come and disturb us. Like this bhikkhuni Chada, when he was sitting, he was doing her meditation, and Mara tried to approach her and tried to make her fall down from her concentration. So in the same way, when we come for intensive meditation, sometimes different types of meditation, sometimes different types of Mara will appear and try to, disturb us. For example, sometimes when we sit meditating, then because of concentration, sometimes there's also thoughts, and the good thoughts come. Okay, suddenly a creative plan, then think, then say, I'm going to write down. Stand up and write it down. Otherwise, when I get up, I forgot. So at this time, this Mara, you must recognize this is Mara trying to make you fall away from your concentration. If you get up and write down your plan, then you fall away from concentration. If you get up and write down your plan, then you fall away from your concentration. I experienced this many times. Sometimes I'm a writer of a book. Sometimes sitting in a meditation, the mind suddenly becomes so focused and creative. There's one expression I have never expressed before. Wow, I'm very excited. I'm going to write down, otherwise I will forget. But I recognize this Mara, right? But sometimes I remember saying, no, I should not get up. Continue to sit. When I get up, I will write down. When I finish my meditation, I will write. I cannot remember what that creative thought is. Cannot remember at all. So if this thought is so important, how can I not remember? Right? Simply it's because of Mara. Mara try to Mara. So if I follow the Mara's desire, then I fall away from my sitting. If it's really important, I will never forget after my meditation. Right? So many times already. So nowadays I don't trust my mind. Especially during meditation, whatever thought comes, whether it's wholesome one, whatever thought comes, whether it's wholesome one, ambitious one, forget it. All are illusion. Just an illusion. I treat it as illusion. Similarly, in your meditation also, sometimes when you come for retreat, then you cannot sit already. I want to go back. Then must recognize this Mara. Mara trying to block you from meritorious deed. Okay. So that type of Mara is called Devadatta. No, it's called Kilesa Mara. Not the real Mara. It's Kilesa Mara. All the Kilesa come out to disturb your mind. And Khanda Mara. Khanda means aggregate. Our 5 aggregate is considered Mara. Why? Because consider Mara. Why? Because this 5 aggregate. The first one is form aggregate, our 4 elements in the body. Earth element, water element, fire element, and wind element. These 4 elements in the body keep on changing. Hot, sometimes so the body is so sticky. Sometimes the body is so itchy. There are so many sensations that arise in the body which is out of your control. And you got to bear with it. This is also called Khanda Mara. And also your feeling, especially during the retreat. Whatever emotions you have that you have buried or you sweep under the carpet for many years, during the meditation all pop up. So all this unsolved problem, unsolved emotion and feelings are also Khanda Mara. You got to deal with it skillfully. Otherwise you will be defeated. And also different type of thoughts. Suppose restless, the mind think here and there, it's like monkey mind jumping here and there. All these are also Khanda Mara, is also Kilesa Mara, both. So Khanda, 5 Khanda, form aggregate, feeling aggregate, perception aggregate, and also consciousness aggregate. So we have to deal with this 5 aggregate, and this 5 aggregate appear to be very oppressive. For example, the formation aggregate, something related with our karma. So once a while, our life meet with very low karma. Whatever happens is just unsmooth. So then we must realize there is formation aggregate. It's very oppressive, like a Mara. So at that moment, at that period of time, we have to bear with all this suffering. At that period of time, we have to bear with all this suffering with courage and understanding. Even karma is impermanent. Low karma is not there all the time. Good karma is also not there all the time. The life is made up by up and down. So once we realize it, then we take it easy. Okay, so and different state of emotion, anger, greed, jealousy, and restless, all this also belong to mental aggregate, which is also Khanda Kilesa, Khanda Mara. Mara means the evil one. Then the third Khanda, the third Mara is Machu Mara, death. Everyone afraid of of death, right? So when that is approaching, people become very helpless. Death take away all your belonging, all your beloved one. Therefore, it's considered the evil one. Death is also Mara. And the fourth one is being. This being, Mara, always want to disturb our concentration. Wanted to make her fall away from our good state of the mind. For example, Buddha, before he gained enlightenment, under the Bodhi tree, before he achieved Buddhahood, then the three daughters from Mara's daughter tried to seduce him so that he will achieve the Buddhahood. Right? Similarly, this Bhikkhuni Chala, when he sit for days abiding, and the Mara appear, want to make her fall away from concentration, want to seduce her to enjoy. So let's see what Mara say. So the evil one approached the Bhikkhuni Chala and said to her, "What don't you approve of, Bhikkhuni? What thing you are not approved of? What thing you are not approved of?" Then the Bhikkhuni answered, "I don't approve of birth, friend." Then the Mara asked, "Why don't you approve of birth? Once born, one who now has persuaded you of this. Who is Mara himself? Mara himself now persuade Bhikkhuni Chala to enjoy sensual pleasures." Then he asked, "Why don't you approve of birth? Because once you are born, you can enjoy sensual pleasures through your sense bases, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind." Right? And the Bhikkhuni answered, "For one who is born, there is death. For monks being, we approve of birth. Therefore, we celebrate happy birthday." This is worthy ordinary being. Buddha and all Arahant, they all do not approve of birth. If you read Sutta, not even whole Sutta, cannot find even one celebrate for his or her birthday. But ordinary beings very different. They feel very happy with birth. Even 80 years old also want to celebrate happy birthday. So what we see, what we worldly people perceive, is very different from the noble one. So the Bhikkhuni answered, why she does not approve of birth. She said that when one who is born, there is death. This for sure. Everybody have to accept. Once born, one encounters sufferings. What type of suffering? Bondage. Murder. Murder can be people or murder by your own 5 aggregate. Therefore, 5 aggregate is called murderer. If you attach to one, let's say if you attach to your body, then this body become your murderer. You are bound by the body and give into anger, give into greed, give into various types of mental refinements. This is called bound by the body. It's bondage, then body become your bondage. And sometimes body will be killed by other people, tortured. And sometimes body will be killed by other people, tortured by other people. Therefore, it's called murder. And affliction. Affliction refers to bodily, physically and mentally affliction. Those who suffer from cancer knows well. who suffer from serious sickness, then they know how suffering is having this body. To me, the mental suffering more than physical suffering. I can endure physical suffering to a great extent, but that. Okay, hence one shouldn't approve of birth. Because with birth you have bondage, you're bound by the body, by a feeling, and by different mental states. And these five aggregate appear like a murderer, and affliction like evil. Aggregate appear like a murderer, and affliction like evil, like tumor, like cancer, and so on. Therefore, one shouldn't approve of birth. The Buddha has taught the Dhamma, the transcendence of birth. Go beyond the birth or suffering, because when there's no birth, the suffering will not follow along with the birth. Why? When there's no birth, there's no body. Therefore, no bodily suffering. When there's no birth, no mental. Therefore, no mental suffering. No aging, no sickness, and no death. When there's no birth, there's no death. And Buddha said, simply because of aging, sickness, and death, I appear in the world. If the world has no aging, sickness, and death, I don't have to appear aging, sickness, and death. I don't have to appear in the world for the welfare and happiness for all sentient beings. Right? Therefore, no one can escape from aging, sickness, and death. But only aging, sickness, and death. So, and the bhikkhuni continued to say, he has settled me in the truth. The Buddha. The Buddha has settled me in the truth. The truth of awakening. The truth of awakening. The truth of abandoning all desires. As to those beings who fare amidst form, we are the beings who fare amidst form. We have the form. And those who abide in the formless, arupa world, those who have no body, no physical body, not having understood cessation, whether you have form or without form. If you don't understood or cessation of mental, formless means mental only. So some beings have physical form and mental together. Some beings only have mental, no form. But if this type of people don't understand cessation of both body and mind, then cessation of both body and mind, then they come again to re-becoming. They come again to the world again and again. So when they come to birth again, then they are not free from aging, sickness, and death, bondage, murder, and affliction. Therefore, I don't approve birth. This is what the Chala Bhikkhuni answered the Mara. Then Mara, the evil one, realizing the Bhikkhuni, because the Mara cannot defeat Bhikkhuni Arahant, then disappeared right there. If this Bhikkhuni has no mental strength, then he will follow Mara's desire and fall away not only from virtues and enjoy sensual pleasures with the Mara. Okay, next one, Vajira. Vajira means diamond. Okay, in the morning, the Bhikkhuni Vajira dressed and taking bow. In the morning, the Bhikkhuni Vajira dressed and taking bow and rope enter Savatthi for alms. So this is regular practice of monk and nun during Buddha's time. They go Pindabat. So when they go Pindabat, they cannot demand anything. Yeah? What people give you, just take it. When she had walked for alms in Savatthi and had returned from her alms round, after her meal, she went to the blind man's grove for a day's abiding. So from here you can see the responsibility and the duty of monk and nun. And monk and get up, they clean the monastery, Then after that, they go out for Pindabat. Taking the meditation subject with them, they go out for Pindabat. Similarly, tomorrow, when you go out also, taking your meditation subject. Pay attention on your breath, or you say metta, subject. Pay attention on your breath, or you say metta. Take the meditation subject with you when you go Pindabat for tomorrow. Okay. So then after finish their meal, they will start meditating. Okay. Then Mara, the evil one, and terror in the bhikkhuni Vajira, desiring to make her fall away from concentration, approach her and address her in verses. So from here you can see again, the Mara is there all the time. We just have to be mindful. We just to be mindful and recognize the Mara when he appears. Don't be defeated by the Mara. And sometimes Mara want to arouse fear in us. Sometimes when we experience some good, insight, and we become so fearful. Recognize Mara is there. Mara want to arouse fear so that you fall away. There are some of the students, when they practice, the whole body consists of 4 elements. Meditation consists of 4 elements: earth element, water, fire, and wind element. So at that time they cannot see any form, just 4 elements arising, passing away, and they become so fearful. Elements arising, passing away, and they become so fearful, shedding their tears and so fearful. And they come to me. I said that, isn't that is your goal, to see the non-self nature of the body? But how come when you realize your goal, you become so fearful and so afraid and want to fall away, I don't want to meditate anymore? I think the Mara is there. Similarly, when practice Anapanasati also same. Some people when reach a state, they cannot see the body, only one hand. They can feel only one hand in my body. When you open the eye, you fall away from concentration. And Mara is there already. Mara want you to fall away from, Mara arouse your fear. If you follow the Mara's desire, then you fall away from your concentration. And some people, when they reach a state, there's no breath. So they don't know, I'm going to die. Then they breathe in very loud and they fall away from concentration again. Recognize all these are Mara. Okay? So the Mara approached her and addressed her in verses. By whom has this being been created? These verses, the answer of Vajira is very famous. Where is the maker of the being? Where has the being arisen? Where does the being cease? Then it occurred to the bhikkhuni Vajira, now who is this that recited the verses? A human being or a non-human word to her? This is Mara, who has recited the verse desiring to arouse fear in me, desiring to make me fall away from concentration. Then the bhikkhuni Vajira replied to him in verses. Why now do you assume verses? Why now do you assume a being? Because he asked a question. Mara asked a question. By whom has this being been created? How should you answer? Put aside Bhikkhuni Vajira's answer. How should you answer? All right? Partly from your parent. the how to call? Western science will say from my parent, right? Brother Lo, is it true? Where a being, where you created, where? From your parent, right? So this Western science, we don't 100% follow what science says. Therefore, the Bhikkhuni answered, why now do you assume a being? Now do you assume a being? Mara, have you grasped a view? If you assume there's a being, this is called wrong view already. In the teaching of the Buddha, we do not assume a being. We do not say that a being is being or by our parent. We don't say that. To say a being is already a wrong view. Not to say created by whom. When you say there's a being, it's already a wrong view. Some more you say created by somebody. Some more you say created by somebody. Second wrong view. Right? So Mara, have you grasped a view? Identity view. This is a heap of sheer constructions. Here no being is found. Just like a house. A house is constructed by what? By the roof, by the pillar, by the foundation, and by all this cement and brick, right? But when you when the foundation collapses, you cannot find the house. But with the combination of all this, and the house is found, and that house is also it's just a designation of a name only. It's just a designation of a name only. It's a name. The name come out when all the combinations are there. Therefore, Vajira said that this being is a heap of sections. Here, no being is found. In conventional truth, we say there's a being. She is Vajira, she is Chala, she is Dhammadina, and so on. This is according to the conventional truth. For easy communication, right? We give a person a name for easy understanding. If we don't give them a name, the world will fall into confusion, because all are 5 aggregate. So if I want to call Brother Lo, 5 aggregate, please come. She also 5 aggregate. He will not get things done, right? Therefore, we give him a Lo, or this Dhammadina, this is Khema, this is Gautami, and so on, for easy understanding, for the sake of convenience, so that the world will not fall into confusion conventionally. Okay? But out into confusion conventionally. Okay? But ultimately, we must understand there is no self. It's just a combination of the parts. What are the combination? 5 aggregate. Form, feeling, perception, form, conscious. Okay. Then she continued to say, just as with an assemblage of parts, the word chariot is used. Chariot, like horse chariot. It's made up by, by wheel, the carriage, and the horse, and so on. Then we call all this chariot. It's made up by part, assemble of different parts. That the word chariot is used. So when the aggregates are present, when the 5 is used. So when the aggregates are present, when the 5 aggregates are present, there is the conventional being. You are being, human being. Deva is also 5 aggregate, right? Our being is also 5 aggregate. Animal is also 5 aggregate. Assemblage of all these 5 aggregate, a being, the term being, or the name being, or conventional truth is there. It is only suffering that comes to be. Suffering and suffering that stands and falls away. I think sorry for the wrong spelling. Okay. Suffering that stands and falls away. Okay. For this part, many people cannot understand. If you say that when there's no being, how can the suffering comes from? How can suffering arise? Yes, when you have 5 aggregate, you have the suffering. Being is just conventional truth, must be always remember. You must remember this point. Being is just conventional truth. But when there are 5 aggregate, they are suffering. So he said that it's only suffering that comes to be. Only 5 aggregate associated with suffering that comes to be. 5 aggregate associated with suffering that comes to be. And this 5 aggregate is not a permanent self. We always identify 5 aggregate as a permanent self. Therefore, we develop identity view. Right? So the path is to keep on seeing this 5 aggregate is not self. It's conditionally a reason phenomena. Keep seeing this point until you lose the perception of self. So it's only suffering that comes to be, suffering that ends and falls away. Suffering also impermanent. Suffering is also impermanent. All sabbe sankhara anicca, sabbe sankhara dukkha. So suffering is also sankhara. So suffering is also sankhara. Suffering is also impermanent. So suffering stands and falls away. Nothing but suffering comes to be. Nothing means no beings. No, but suffering comes to be. Nothing but suffering ceases. Therefore, there's always hope in the teaching of the Buddha. Buddha said there is suffering. Yes, no one can deny the end one day. And Buddha showed us the path, the Noble Eightfold Path. Concentration and insight meditation that lead you to the end of suffering. Therefore, Buddha said, nothing but suffering comes to be, nothing but suffering ceases. In our life, we don't see it as, we don't try to personalize the suffering as myself. I remember one time when I was USA, I practice every morning sit in concentration anapana. Every morning sit in concentration anapana. Sit very long. But every time, for many times, even the breathing in and breathing out appear to me just suffering. I don't know why. Breathe in, the mind feels suffering, so feels suffering. Breathing in, suffering, breathing out, suffering, until I jump out. I cannot bear that suffering anymore. So, stop meditating for this morning. Tomorrow, start again, breathing in, suffering. It's not I want to see suffering. It just appears to my mind. Each breath is just suffering. At the time, I cannot sit. And I don't want to sit because I cannot cope with that suffering. And the third day, suddenly I remember Venerable Sariputta said, suffering is also not a self. Suffering is not a self. So, third day, breathing in, breathing out, suffering is not a self. Breathing in, breathing out, suffering is not myself. The second day, the breath appeared to me just suffering. Why I cannot cope with it? Simply because I identify that suffering as myself. Therefore, I feel very, very oppressive. On the third day, the teaching of the Buddha, the teaching of Sariputta suddenly awakened Buddha. The teaching of Sariputta suddenly awakened me. Oh, suffering is just a phenomena. It's also impermanent, right? It's not a self. So I breathe in, breathe out, suffering not myself. Then I can continue my sitting. And when I stay here also, I encounter a lot of suffering. If I am not mindful, if I am not contemplative, then if I grasp suffering as myself, I cannot endure. But the moment I contemplate, suffering is not myself, it's just a phenomena arising, passing away, then I can continue to live on. Life is so difficult, right? Therefore, nothing, not beings. Don't identify suffering as yourself, as myself. Otherwise, you cannot bear the hardship of life. So nothing but suffering comes to be, nothing but suffering. So nothing but suffering comes to be, nothing but suffering ceases. And this I also tally with one very famous utterance of Buddha's teaching. Buddha said, is both formally and now. What I teach is suffering and the cessation of suffering. There's no being. Only phenomena rolling on. There's no being. I teach both formally and now is only suffering and the cessation of suffering. Before I come to understanding of the Buddha's teaching practically, through my own insight, I cannot understand this verse. Only suffering, I cannot understand this verse. Only suffering and the end of suffering, no one suffering. What's the meaning? And then who am I? Right? I cannot understand. But when you reach certain insight, then suddenly it's so clear. What Buddha said is so clear and so precise. So what Vajira tried to convey is that suffering exists. Suffering is impermanent, come and go, and there's no one undergo suffering. So you cannot assume a being. You cannot say that a being is created. No. You cannot say who is the maker of the being. We are not Christian. Christians say that God is the maker of being, but we are not Christian. Neither we are Hindu. Hindu also say the Brahma created beings. We are the follower of Buddha. Buddha say everything depends on and conditional phenomena arising and passing away. There's no permanent thing. There's no permanent beings. So we cannot say there's a maker. No. And we cannot say where has the being a reason. We cannot say where has the being a reason. The moment you use the being, you already fall into wrong view. Therefore, Bhikkhuni say, Mara, have you grasped a view? When you say that, why now? Why when woman Mara use a being, Bhikkhuni Vajira tell, you grasp a view already. Okay? Then Mara, the evil one, realizing the Bhikkhuni Vajira knows me, sad and disappointed, disappeared right there. Okay, so for your meditation, apart from Anapana, sometimes whatever emotions, whatever feeling that arise, or whatever sensation that arise in your body, whatever feeling you have, either pleasant, unpleasant, or whatever emotional state that arise at the moment, try to contemplate two ways. One, you can contemplate it as impermanent, impermanent, impermanent. Keep on telling yourself, it's impermanent. Things will change. See it as not myself, not myself. Sadness, or sensitivity. Sometimes, some people may be very sensitive to what other people say. Then they feel something at heart. So when all this emotion arise in you, just say. When all this emotion arise in you, just say, not myself, not myself. And when you say not myself, it's not only verbal. It's not only reciting. You try to separate the noting mind with that emotion. Separate it. Not myself. Like other people's emotion, not your emotion. In the beginning, you may find it difficult, but practice makes perfect. Right? So not myself, not myself, not myself. Otherwise, if you cannot master in this, you cannot cope with your emotions. Right? Once you master this skill, you don't need teacher to console your broken heart. You have the skill and courage, the power of the mind. Then one time you face, second time, third time, power of the mind. Then one time you face, second time, third time. Just like when suffering, I told you when I breathe in, breathe out, every breath appeared to me as suffering. I also have no teacher to ask, right? But I have sutta knowledge, the teaching of the Buddha. So I started, okay, suffering is not myself. Then I can carry on my practice without guidance from any teacher. Therefore, if you want to be a long-term practitioner, you must have the skillful means to counter or to overcome life's uncertainty. Either you can contemplate whatever arises in your mind as impermanent, and when you contemplate it as impermanent, your mind must be willing. To let go of it. Don't contemplate impermanent and yet grasp to it. Then it will not be impermanent. It will be permanent due to your grasping. Trust what Buddha says, sabbe sankhara anicca. Everything is impermanent. Some unhappy experience or sorrow or despair that appears so long in our heart can be years, 2 years, 3 years, even carry forward to next life. Why? If everything is impermanent, but why certain things are so hard to remove from the heart, from the bottom of the heart? Simply we cling to it as permanent, or we cling to it as mine. That sorrow belongs to me. That sorrow belongs to me. That's grasping. When that's grasping, that's clinging, that issue will stay very, very long in your heart, unless you are willing to let go of it. By constantly contemplate impermanent, not myself, conditional phenomena, it will change. Permanent, not myself, conditional phenomena, it will change. Okay? There was a story. A very wealthy father. He has 2 sons. So one day when he's going to die, they to will to his 2 sons. So the elder one, but however before, and the elder one take a big lump sum of money. And the younger one is a small box only. What he get is only a small box. And the younger son opened the box and see one ring. My father loved me so much, give me so much money, and give the younger one just a small ring. But the younger son is very smart. very, very smart. He said, my father is a wise man, Pandita. Why he give me such a small ring?